Yo, what's going on YouTube? Gonna be doing a quick breakdown on how I made $1,000 on the day on a live account. You know what I'm saying? So let me just get this scaled down, put this in the corner. You know what I'm saying? And let's just pop it up. All right, so I took two trades, as you can see. I'm gonna go over both trades. It's gonna be a little treat. I'm gonna go over the first one, the US 30. This was actually taken at probably like an hour ago or two. I made $560, and my gold trade was taken last night. So let's just go over it real quick. So the first thing I always like to do, and it's gonna sound pretty repetitive because that's all you're doing. You're rinsing and repeating. So I'm gonna remove it. I always work where current price is. I'm not going to work all the way down here. I'm not going to work all the way up here. I'm going to work where the current candle is, and I'm going to look left. If there's any confusion on this, pay attention very closely. I'm looking where the daily candle is for today. Today, this candle is still active. What that means is I'm looking for where current price is and where current price could be headed. So the candle's about this big, right? So first thing I do, I go down and I just look left to see if there was any previous struggle points, being that there is a huge wick right here. So some type of rejection happened right here on the lower time frames. This has to be an important level. So what I do, I grab my rectangular zone and I just go across real quick and I check. Look at all these struggle points, struggle point, price breaking through, bouncing up, breaking through, bouncing up, all these wicks right here, everything right here. What I like to do is kind of make it as big as you just don't want a humongous, like I just can't give you a pinpoint like example, but you where you go with current prices, you would kind of want it the size of the next top wick, or like the size of a body like this one. You just don't want it like this, right? You don't want it like this. It's too broad. This is too much. You want to keep it compact and small, but not this small, right? You want it like to be able to cover a couple wicks. So this is the bottom. Being that price has went down, I put one because we're more towards the bottom. We're not up here. If we were up here, I would put one up here. But currently, we're at the bottom. So that's my first zone. Now that I have a bottom one, now I'm looking for a potential top one. And what do? I'm still looking where current price is. I'm not going to mark all the way up here. Marking up here is too ridiculous and it's too far. I'm looking for where rejections happen that are near price. So remember, we have a huge rejection down here and a huge rejection up here. So I just look around where current price is. And by looking at it, look at all these exhaustion points right here, all these wicks. This is a lot of wick action. I really like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark another zone right here. Now, everybody's zones are going to look a little bit different. That's okay because there's not exact points that I'm using. It's just an area. It's a little perspective, if you will, like a little zone. It's not like an actual like specific spot. So now that I set that up, I go to my 4-hour. I really like how price came back with this humongous 4-hour bullish candlestick, breaking structure right here. So the down trade was made, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then price broke right here. I really like that price broke right here. That's a good indication that price might be going up. So that was one of my details to me in my head that was like, okay, that's a nice sign. But the problem is price was up here. I'm not buying up here because this is in a top zone. I'm not buying in no top zone. The odds of you taking unnecessary drawdown are so high, it's ridiculous. So what do? I wait for and this is where you usually use your 4-hour. So you set your daily zones and then you have your 4-hour. Your 4-hour is going to be more of a middle point. So when price was dropping with this candle, the first thing I did when price Remember, I'm not buying up here. So regardless, I'm waiting for price to drop anyways. But when price was dropping down, I said, what is the lowest that I would like price to stay at? And it's typically always kind of like the middle of the two zones. So, and if you look right here, there's a bunch of struggle points already. Look, got a struggle point here, struggle point, a bunch of wicks here, struggle point here, struggle point here. So I told myself, if price can go above this, I will be taking buys, right? If price stays above that, I'll take buys. So I mark this zone up. Then, so that's the 4 hour. Then I will go to a lower time frame, such as the 15-minute and the 5-minute. So when price was dropping down here, I didn't like that it was too low like this. I wanted price to come back above this, and that's exactly what I did. When price got above, my entry point was 49. $49,485. So I had an early entry because I told myself if price goes anything below this zone right here, this bottom zone. Remember, this is our daily bottom zone. I told myself if price goes anything below this, we're just done. You know what I'm saying? So I had this is a 1 to 2 trade. I got out 49,565, 49,565, right there. So it's for a 1 to 2. I got out right here, and this is where I entered. Now, this first entry is more. I mean, this last entry. This is basically like your last zone right here. This is your last level you would want to get in. This would have been more of a safer, so I can imagine more of a beginner taking this trade somewhere up here when price broke above here, right? I just don't like to take unnecessary drawdown, me personally. So this is still valid because price is above this line, this middle line, the 4 hour middle line that I made. But me being more experienced, I took the bottom. Now this is a last resort trade because we're at the bottom of the zone. Remember I said if price breaks through here, then we're cooked and we're going to take a L. But I ended up taking W on the day, and that got me $580, something like that. And that's all I do. I play zone to zone. Now I could have held this for longer and took it to that top zone because basically we had a zone, and we could have took it all the way back to the top zone. I'm just satisfied with taking a 1 to 2. I'm just in my 1 to 2 era right now. I like 1 to 2s. I think my win rate is a lot higher with 1 to 2s. I used to do 1 to 3s a lot. I feel like ever since I started doing 1 to 2s, I'm just winning a lot more. And you would find that you'll find your own way and your own strategy on how you go about it, right? Like you might do better with 1 to 3s than me. I do hit for 1 to 3s. I don't know. I feel like I'm really accurate with 1 to 2s. Anything to win, man, you know? So that was the US 30 trade. Now let's go to the gold trade. So this is the markup from the last video. And I apologize for the audio on the last video. It was pretty garbage. But like I said, I always go and mark up my zones. I'm not going to really mark them up right now because I kind of already did this like in the last video. But regardless, you work where current price is. And where current price is, this is the daily time frame. I would mark a zone here. Why would I mark a zone here? Because we have constant. Now, this zone might look a little bit bigger in a sense. It's probably because I'm zoomed in. But regardless, you don't want your zone too humongous. So this is a good level for this one because we had a lot of dips into this level, right? It's a lot of fighting in this. You got some action here. You got a couple wicks here. You got price completely breaking it and just coming back up. So it's all based on candlesticks. It's gonna be like your eyes, your interpretation. How good can you get at telling where price can bounce from? So regardless, I said a bottom one and I said a top one. The top one, of course, because we have a bunch of rejections here, we have a bunch of rejections here. We have a pop out and a pop back in with a bunch of rejections, and over here we also have more rejections. So that being said, I go back to my 4-hour. I look for a 4-hour. I love right now how the 4-hour made a lower high, made a lower low, came through and broke structure. Most likely, so today is Monday. Probably this week, within the week, it's probably gonna head up here, and hopefully it can keep heading back up here to this top zone. Remember, this is a 4-hour zone. I made this one because I told myself that price was too overextended. This is last week's trade. Price was too overextended going down, and we needed some type of pullback. Price just never came up here. But price did end up breaking structure right here today. So that is a good sign. So we're probably going to get that big pullback going up anyways. But let's talk about today. This was yesterday, last night. Like I said, I waited for price to get as close to this middle line as possible. And price actually ended up, so anything above this middle line for me was a buy. Price actually ended up collapsing through this yesterday. So I ended up taking the trade, and I told myself, I actually put this in the Discord. I put, if price breaks below and stays below this red line, this is a high risk trade right here. And I ended up winning, but this is a veteran move. This is not a move for beginners. Like up here, this will be more like for new people. But if you have any experience in the game, you would have caught this right here. And I ended up entering at 4491. Bum. Right here. 4491. All the way to 4520. So pretty early on the get out. But I basically put my stop loss below this wick right here for the 1 to 2. See that? See how perfect it goes? So I ended up taking that trade and making like $587. I actually ended the day with $1,161. Yeah, this was more of a veteran move. A lot of people wouldn't have been able to see that. They'd have probably been freaking out because of the drop. It just kept dropping. And it's all about marking your zones and making a game plan. I told myself if price stays below this red line, then I have no interest. But the fact that price popped back above, I was like, this could be a last chance to get a bottom wick. So price broke above, and now price is currently staying above. I really like how the 4-hour is looking right now, because that gives me high hopes that price is most likely going to head to this 4-hour point right here. And if it heads to the 4-hour point and it stays, it goes above the 4-hour point, it's definitely going to that top zone that we made on the daily. But yeah, that's how I caught this move right here. I'm playing zone to zone. If you have any confusion on what I'm doing, I'm playing zone to zone. That is all it is. All this extra terminology, supply, demand, support, resistance, fair value, got order blocks. I'm not doing none of that, bro. I'm interpreting how the candles are looking based on exhaustion and basing on how much buying pressure or selling pressure are in the candles. And then I'm going from zone to zone, and I'm waiting for breakouts, and I'm waiting for retests. That is all I'm doing. It's nothing special going on. If you're feeling any type of confusion, have any type of questions, don't be afraid. Got the Discord right here. I did call this trade, the US 30 trade. I called it. And we were waiting for gold right here, but I ended up taking US 30 because US 30 looked a lot more cleaner. So I ended up not taking the gold trade, the second gold trade. But this is last night's gold trade. So I already marked it off. This is that same exact point that I was just talking about when price broke out and came back into the zone. And I ended up taking the buy right here. So that's what happened on that move. But everything is in the Discord. We got tons of students. We got students winning as well. Look at this guy about to pass his combine or whatever. And yeah, we got a bunch of people in here, man. If you're feeling lost, you're feeling like you don't know what to do, join the Discord, completely free. And if you want to know what broker I use, I'm using GatesFX. It's a live account, of course. We are how you say? uh Dang, how you say it? Compounding. My bad. I barely woke up not too long ago. I'm compounding my account right now, and yo, we're doing good. We got some good growth right now. So, if you wanna, sign up for this broker, the link is going to be in the description. Click that, and you don't have to open up a live account. You can test the platform out. I love TradeLocker. I think TradeLocker is way better than MetaTrader, way better than TraderVate. It's such a simple platform to use that I feel like a kid can use it. You know what I'm saying? So, any questions, join the Discord, shoot me a DM. The live broker that I use is going to be in the description. That includes the video, bro. See y'all next one.